Hello, I'm Jack Gibson. I'm the founder of Indestructible Wealth, and this is my 7-step video series to teach you the strategic process of how to become financially free. Super excited that you're joining me on this. Now, this video is going to be an overview of all 7 steps, and then the next 6, we're going to break down each of the components and really make sure that you fully understand them. So, first off, a little backstory. I had to face the harsh reality that I was simply not financially intelligent. And once I accepted it, I knew I needed to change. About 5 years ago, I took a couple big unnecessary hits in the stock market, and it really caused me to take a good hard look inside and ask myself some very serious questions. Ultimately, what I discovered is that the root cause of this and other past experiences in attempting to build wealth came down to one very hard to accept but simple truth. I was a successful entrepreneur, but I was financially illiterate. I knew how to make money and was confident I could create value in whatever I set my mind to. However, I had no idea how to keep it, much less grow it. I had no financial plan and did not understand the money game. As the great business philosopher Jim Rohn described, the day he lied to a Girl Scout and he told her that he had already bought too many cookies from other Girl Scouts. But the reality was he had no money to buy cookies from her. And that was the day that he says the fierce emotion of resolve set in. And so it was the same for me. That day I resolved to become what Robert Kiyosaki described to me many years prior in his classic book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that I would become what he called a sophisticated investor. He describes a sophisticated investor as an investor who understands the words and can speak the language of an investor and who can invest their money with a high degree of safety because they know how to buy cash flowing assets at the right prices. Although I cannot say with 100% confidence I'm currently a sophisticated investor, what I do know is the journey I've been on the past 5 years, however painful it was, has transformed my knowledge and my confidence, and I do believe I can invest much more safely with a very high degree of success. It's also helped me to formulate a plan that is helping me protect our family's current lifestyle while at the same time giving us a chance to create some potentially amazing capital gains and growth in the value of our total portfolio. This video and platform is essentially what I would say to myself if I had the chance to go back in time and visit young, college-age, 22-year-old Jack before he took and invested his hard-earned cash in tech stocks in March of 2000. That he hustled and saved, working hard through college while his fellow students were drinking and playing video games. Now, I did a bit of that too, but much less frequently. And if you're too young to remember the dot-com bubble, that event instantly cut my investment in half and forever scarred me on the stock market. And I've realized through self-discovery that I've held on to, a grudge and a fear that has unnecessarily held me back from some really great returns. And I needed to release that event, much like one needs to release the grudge of a bad relationship and, not let it scar them from a new and a better relationship. The concept of having a strategic plan is that it protects you from yourself. We're all emotional and greedy at various levels, and our plan could switch from one month to the next. So when you have a plan that dictates what you do, you don't swing your decisions from month to month and end up doing something very stupid and therefore very costly. If you have a plan and execute that plan applying pressure consistently, no one can stop you unless they have a plan to stop you, and no one is out there formulating a plan to stop you financially. In studying many different models over the past years, it seems to me that the vast majority of advisors, book writers, coaches, and gurus, they're almost either in one of two camps exclusively. They're either for cash flow or appreciation, which is also called capital gains. Cash flow in investing is buying assets that you want income from, like rental properties, dividend stocks, bonds, and mortgage-backed notes, to name a few. Capital gains investing is buying assets that you want growth and value from, like growth in tech stocks, cryptocurrency, and even some speculative housing projects. Although I'm predominantly a cash flow investor, I do believe that a mixed strategy will be very important moving forward over the next decade. And although there are many benefits to cash flow investing, there are two very big and very looming problems with only cash flow investing: taxes and speed of growth. Cash flow is taxed much higher than capital gains, and typical solid cash flow investments don't have a lot of big upside growth potential. So the strategy outline will provide the security and financial independence that a cash flow strategy offers, along with taking some swings for the fences and going for some big, quick jumps in wealth that if they don't work out, you're totally fine and your lifestyle isn't affected at all. The basic foundation of the plan is outlined in the movie Moneyball. If you haven't seen this movie, pop some popcorn and let it rip. It's based on a true story of general manager Billy Beane of the Oakland A's, who had just lost his top home run guy, Jason Giambi, and the A's did not have the budget to replace him. In fact, they had the lowest budget in the major leagues. He brought in a young analytics guy from Yale who showed him how they could pick up several guys for a value, aka cheap contracts, that were just really good at just getting on base. You know, they weren't home run superstars, but could effectively get on base. By implementing this plan, despite severe criticism and backlash from his scouts, he made a great run with the A's and maximized the budget constraints he had to deal with. Many other organizations inside of Major League Baseball eventually copied his plan. And I equate this with cash flow strategy. You get on base and you form a solid foundation. Then, when the timing is right, you take some well-calculated swings for the fences. You know, by far the biggest expense of your life will be in taxes. Over a lifetime, you're going to pay 50% of your income to taxes. You know, you may be thinking, well, I'm on the 50% tax bracket. You know, no one is at the federal level, at least yet anyways. But when you add up federal, state, Medicare, unemployment tax, property taxes, sales taxes, along with the hidden tax of the government printing large-scale amounts of money, which in fact debases and devalues your money and the value, it's more than likely it's higher than 50%. So far bigger than your house, your car, education, or food. So the plan is very focused on tax strategies that can help you to pay your fair share, but not more than. You know, there were some that were probably outraged when they saw Trump's tax returns. And whether you believe him to be right or wrong, it makes no difference. He understands the rules of the game, and he puts a plan in place to minimize his taxes and protect his family's wealth. So here are the 7 steps, and we're going to be taking much deeper dives into this, all these steps on my podcast, my blog, my YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe for the latest updates. Step 1, focus on increasing your ability to earn more money by improving your work ethic and skills. This is what I call productionist thinking versus reductionist thinking. You're not going to create wealth, at least not in a very long time, by simply cutting back or reducing. Abundance thinking always asks the question of, how can I create more value and be of service to others in exchange for higher compensation? If you're an employee and you're capped at a certain wage, or maybe you're not capped, but your income will only rise with inflation, like for example, teachers and the vast majority of wage W-2 earners, then you almost certainly will need to create a side hustle. Your primary investment at this stage is in yourself. Courses, coaching, books, programs, seminars, anything you can get your hands on that can help you improve your value. Be voracious in your quest to get better at what you do. The money will find you. Step number 2, choose to live well below your means so you can save over 60% of your income. Now, I'm sure that step 2 is met with maybe a little bit of shock and probably where most want to exit the program. However, bear with me, you aren't going to create wealth in any sort of capacity by saving 10% and then making 10% off your 10%. That's called really fucking slow. Sure, you're going to have to work your way up to 60% by increasing your income from step 1, but at the same time, not increasing your spending and lifestyle. This is where most Americans mess up their plan. They get a raise or increase their business and instantly think they deserve to buy the new car, the house, the vacation, etc. You don't need to live on ramen noodles and not have any fun. However, you have to be disciplined to live like no one else so you can live like no one else. Step 3. Attack and pay off any debts higher than 6% interest, especially any and all consumer debts. They're financial gurus who preach all debt needs to be paid off first before investing, and simple math says this doesn't make sense to me at all. If you don't believe you can confidently earn more than 6% on your money, then you should probably pay off debt and play it safe. However, there is opportunity cost of paying off low interest debt. So, for example, if I put my cash into paying off my 2% auto loan, then that money is not available to be put to work earning 10%. So the net gain given up, the opportunity cost, is 8%. If that's a $100,000 car for easy math, then that's $8,000 I won't earn for that year. Step 4, allocate a portion of your investments into well-researched, higher risk, and therefore huge potential returns using what's called position size bets. We'll explain that in a minute. So no more than 5% of your total portfolio, but up to 20% if you're under 30, because you can be more aggressive. You're going to be able to catch up quicker. So if we want to create wealth before retirement age, so we can design and live an extraordinary life, we're going to have, a really tough road earning and even high earning individuals paying taxes and spending our way there. We need to constantly be taking small stabs at gigantic returns while being careful to not get knocked out of the game. With the amount of new disruptive technology being introduced over the coming decade, the number of potential investments that will have huge upside returns will only exponentially grow. So by position sizing our bets, which means spreading our funds equally across several bets, we only need to catch a small number to achieve incredible returns. Out of 10 bets, for example, if 9 go to 0, but one of them goes up 5,000%, that one will more than offset the 9 losers. This is how venture capitalists think and play the game, and they're some of the wealthiest people on the planet. So step 5 is put the majority of your investments into conservative income-producing assets. The true definition of financial freedom is when the income from your assets can cover your monthly living expenses. When this happens, you're free because you then don't have to work for money. Money will flow in every month whether you're working or not, so you can do what you want when you want. This kind of cash flow will only come from safe, stable, boring, and methodical investments that pay interest, rents, and dividends. Things like whole life cash value life insurance, rental properties, blue chip stocks with dividends, mortgage-backed notes, bonds, and private money loans. It's not sexy, it's not get rich quick, but it's fundamental and predictable and dependable. These multiple streams of income will give you peace of mind and independence. You'll be building your house on the rock and not on the sand. It will be the foundation of almost all of your indestructible multi-generational wealth. So how do you find these types of safe investments and where do you buy them? Well, we're going to be talking a lot about these on my platform. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, my podcast, and my email subscriber list. And we'll constantly be looking at these types of investments together. I've made plenty of mistakes and I can share with you how to potentially avoid these mistakes and help you position yourself to maximize your returns while minimizing your risk. I've invested in pretty much all of these various options, so I will not recommend anything that I haven't or am not willing to put my own money into. You can also now take that monthly cash flow and place a higher percentage of that into higher risk, higher reward bets, because if they don't work out, then your lifestyle isn't affected. Your investment funds, will simply be replenished the following year, and more importantly, your lifestyle isn't affected. What's most important in investing is not risking your current lifestyle for a better one. Seldom does that work out in one's favor. Okay, step 6. What you're going to do is reinvest a portion of your safe income back into well-researched asymmetric investments. So asymmetric is just simply risking $1 to make $100. Whereas symmetric bets, it's risking $100 to make, $1 to $10. How do we find these types of investments? We're going to utilize paid subscription newsletters from well-established experts. There are very smart guys out there who spend their entire lives analyzing and finding investments that have huge upsides, who will charge nominal fees to their subscribers for their picks. They have proven track records and some even years of massively beating the stock market's returns. Will they be right this year, the year that you start these types of higher risk bets? Maybe, or maybe not. But if they don't work out, the beauty of this strategy is your investment dollars will be replenished within a year and you're still in the game. As I write this, I'm currently up 100% in 1 month on an asymmetric play in cryptocurrency that was recommended to me by a paid subscription newsletter. Annualized, that's over 1,000% return on investment. If it didn't work out and went to zero, the income from my conservative dividends, real estate rentals, and mortgage-backed notes would replenish the funds this year, and I could take another stab in short order next year. Step 7, repeat until you're wealthy, and always remember to give generously, keep your ego in check, and enjoy the journey. Your money is not really your money anyways. You're simply a temporary custodian. We know this because we know you will at some point lose everything you have, and it will then be dispersed to others. In other words, it's God's money. So personally, I choose to place God first in my finances and live a life of philanthropy. I'm not waiting to give until I've arrived. If I wait, then I'll be waiting a long time because, as the saying goes, how much is enough? Just a little bit more. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button to destroy the YouTube algorithm, and share my YouTube channel. That way you can help all your friends and family create indestructible wealth. All my social medias are in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.